And yes, let's talk about the most feared and important couple in Hollywood, the couple of Beyoncé and Jay-Z. And about why their empire that they have been building for years is falling apart. Well,
she knows.
She knows. Thank you, Beyoncé, for being in something. I mean, for giving me one more day of life and for allowing me to make this video. Everything mentioned in this video are just internet conspiracy theories. Thank you, Beyoncé. But before we start with this video, hello, good or bad girls with all of you, Beyoncé. Well, all this controversy started because of everything that's happening with P. Diddy, with everything that came out with P. Diddy, and because of the close relationship we've always seen between Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and that man P. Diddy, right? The best little friends. Tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are. That's what everyone thought. Who cares that something that made many people raise their eyebrow was that they realized that all the celebrities, more than all the celebrities, women, every time they won an award, they thanked Beyoncé. Maybe that's why they do well in life. Juana Maria, because they are smart and always thank Beyoncé. Maybe we are doing like a little shit because we have never thanked Beyoncé for anything.
Damn, I messed up, right?
But that made many people, I don't know, realize that maybe celebrities do that because they fear Beyoncé. We have the example of Megan Thee Stallion, Adele, Britney Spears, Lizzo, Kanye West with which obviously in that case, I'm sure it wasn't because he wanted to save Taylor Swift. It's because he was simply making a mess over there.
Even though Kanye these days,
he exposes Jay-Z and says he's scared and doesn't want Jay-Z to do anything to Susanna. He used to be very Pete Diddy and all that. There are even girls who accuse him of doing terrible things. He has clearly distanced himself from Hollywood and has frequently spoken about how dirty that world can be. But he used to be a part of that world. And well, I tell you, for many that represents the fear that people in the industry have of Beyoncé, because they know that if they get on Beyoncé's bad side, it will go badly for their career. And there are already many examples of this. Maybe not that Beyoncé is going to end their life, but that it could be the end of their career, that their career will fail if they get on Beyoncé's bad side. The number one example is one that I've been telling you about for months on Facebook because I've been talking about the topic of Beyoncé and Jay-Z for months. Mostly about how, according to me, they belong to the Illuminati. Well, mostly to the theories, right? That they were members of that because they were always doing this, but according to them, they always make that sign because it's the diamond sign. And as Jay-Z's record label was called Rock Nation, something about rock, you know? Something that has to do with a rock. And well, the diamond is the most valuable rock. And that's why they always did this. Not because they were Illuminatis. But well, outside of that context, we have that Beyoncé's ex-bodyguard exposed them. And he exposed them in a very strong and powerful way. Because he started to tell secrets about the two of them.
Like, for example, their relationship has never been real, right?
That each one has their own life on the side, that they are together only for marketing, something that everyone knew. But another thing he told is that they end either the career or the life of anyone who is against them, you know? Anyone they perceive as a threat to their life or career could be targeted, not just those who oppose them, but also those with whom they have a poor relationship. That when she started in music, well, I tell you, since she started in 2009, she started in the big leagues because she started in one of the most important record labels. And that girl had a lot of future. And what's more, even the people from the record labels were saying like, hey, watch out Jay-Z, watch out Beyoncé, because a powerful girl is coming, right? And well, at the beginning, she supposedly never got along super well with Beyoncé, but she didn't get along badly either. And at a moment, like when Beyoncé started to take personal things that maybe she said in her songs or something like that, and she started to supposedly see that dear Keri was throwing shade at her, and then Beyoncé started to have a great enmity with Keri. And obviously, Keri didn't want to have an enmity with Beyoncé, but Beyoncé started to dislike her a lot. And also, many thought it was a bit out of envy because Beyoncé saw how fast Keri's career was taking off, and maybe she saw herself reflected in her. What's more, that suddenly Keri was no longer advertised, you know? Like every time she released an album, it wasn't talked about. Her record label did nothing to promote her album, and sources close to them started to say that Keri and Beyoncé didn't get along, and by that time, Beyoncé was in the super big leagues. So Beyoncé's fans hated Keri with all their soul. And what's more, even when Keri went out on the street, they threw Beyoncé's albums at her, they spat at her, they shouted horrible things at her. She even put it on Twitter. Poor Keri was living a hell, and she said that she knew who was behind all this. But obviously, she has never mentioned either Jay-Z or Beyoncé, even in several interviews she has done recently. She has talked a bit about it, but never mentioning the names of these people. Another person that if you have seen Beyonce's videos, you know who it is. That is Jaguar, Wright. Or videos about Pete, about Diddy. And yes, I made a video about Pete Diddy. And obviously I mentioned this woman because this woman has been exposing the music industry in Hollywood and all that for years, right? She had been telling those same things about Pete Diddy for years, but before they always made her look like a crazy, unhinged, envious person. Nah. And well, what does it matter that when all that about Pete Diddy came out, she came out to say that it is true that all that is being told, but that it is even worse because Jay-Z also did those same things, and even worse that Jay-Z has much more power. That Pete Diddy in the industry and that he is a worse person. She told the story of Aaliyah, a singer quite popular at the end of the 90s, at the beginning of the 2000s. Everyone thought she was going to have an extraordinary career. And what does it matter that unfortunately in a very sudden way her life ended because the plane she was on crashed, and well, her life ended at that moment. But what does it matter that she tells that Aaliyah knew her life was in danger and she didn't want to get on that plane, and JC kept insisting that she do it and do it and do it. In the end, she did it against her will. And well, what happened. So she tells that from the moment that happened. Beyonce's career exploded not as a solo artist because she was still in the group, but they already had planned. Like within 1 or 2 years that Beyonce would go solo. And well, that helped a lot. According to her career went much better because well, if Aaliyah, according to if she was alive, would have been a competition if too big. And maybe Aaliyah would have been the Beyonce yes. Throughout the whole video, I mispronounced her name. So yes, that's why you're always going to hear the Aaliyah, what's left for you is to endure. I was also very curious that the boyfriend that Aaliyah at that time came out to tell that JC liked Aaliyah. I mean, when JC was fooling around with Beyonce, he was also fooling around with Aaliyah. Just look at these photos and look at how he always grabbed her by the waist and all that, you know? Always very close to her. Like there was a lot of trust. I don't know. And that he even said that once they found JC, Aaliyah and him,
she ended up choosing him.
and they ended up becoming boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's something that Jay-Z never liked. That's why they stopped being friends, from getting along, from talking. And well, he says today that he finds those conspiracy theories very curious, that he tries not to believe those theories, but it doesn't seem like such a crazy idea to him. Obviously, like everyone else, he never mentions the name of Jay-Z or the name of Beyoncé and all this, but everyone knows he's referring to him, right? And it's not to stir up trouble, but trouble, no, but yes. And it's that in general, Jay-Z is a pretty shady man. Imagine that he met her when she was with this famous singer whose name I won't say, so they don't censor my video, but she was only 15 years old. And the worst part is that they started dating when she was 12. But well, he and Beyoncé also started in another shady way, because he met Beyoncé when he was 28 years old and she was 16. And supposedly from that moment, he liked Beyoncé, he had his eye on that woman, and they officially became a couple just as she turned 18, and he was already 30 at that time. So allow me to raise an eyebrow. What a coincidence that they met when she was 16 and they became boyfriend and girlfriend on Beyoncé's birthday. Coincidence? I don't believe it. And continuing with the topic of Jaguar, Wright, she recently appeared on the Pierre Morgan show, which is one of the shows that people watch the most, that people like the most, right? And then, what does it matter? That she was there, supposedly only going to talk about Big Diddy, but she went off script. Well, not off the paper, but she went off the script, or I don't know how to say it, because she started to expose Jay-Z as well, and to tell very strong things about Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Not only Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. So what does it matter? That afterwards, as soon as the show ended, Beyoncé's lawyers got in touch with that man. And well, they got in touch with the show. And they started to tell them that if they didn't take down that show, they were going to sue them. Because they were already going to sue Jaguar, right? And Jaguar also wants to sue them because she says she has witnesses of things that man has done. But coincidentally, Jay-Z has not sued her yet. He has not filed any lawsuit. Beyoncé neither. To which many people find very strange, because if everything that woman is saying is a lie, why don't you sue her? You know, because maybe they are afraid that she does have evidence of things she is telling. But well, she does say that what she expects is for them to sue her so she can bring out those things. But yeah, imagine that even the host ended up apologizing to those people. Another thing that is very powerful to me about these people is the fact that Beyoncé faked her first pregnancy. That is a very famous internet theory. But for me, it's not so far-fetched, right? Because Beyoncé in her second and her first pregnancy, there is a big difference. It's true that her first pregnancy, she announced it in a very public way. But the strange thing, well, in the first place, the definitive proof was on the show that she went according to very pregnant, according to her belly of I don't know how many months. And when she went to sit down, it deflated, her belly deflated as if it were a basketball. Why is your belly gonna deflate when you sit down? Juana Maria, a pregnant woman, has a firm belly. Your belly doesn't deflate when you sit down, my love. So that's like the definitive proof for me. But also, the other proofs are that, for example, in her first pregnancy, she hardly made public appearances or didn't make any public appearances or photos. You know, she didn't do like public photo sessions or anything like that. She kept it super private. However, in her pregnancy that was real, she made everything super public, photo session. She made presentations. She was giving it all with her second pregnancy, very proud of her second pregnancy, and also that the first pregnancy was in first pregnancy was in the Amazon. Well, in her first pregnancy, they closed the hospital when she went to give birth. The whole hospital was closed and only Beyoncé's doctor was there, Beyoncé and Jay-Z. But they closed the whole hospital, Susana. And in her second pregnancy, it was normal. They only closed the corridor where Beyoncé gave birth, but the hospital continued to function as normal, you know? So that makes many people believe that indeed that second pregnancy was real and the first one wasn't. And you're going to ask, why did they hide it? Maybe they were embarrassed to admit the surrogacy, or I really don't know. In this video, I'm not assuring anything, just sharing internet theories. Oh no, I almost forgot to mention this, but there's a theory that supposedly Beyoncé... Yes, to Juana Maria as you hear it. It all happened because of a fake tweet that said something like, Beyoncé kidnapped me, when people joined the first words of the tweet together. In 2016, a viral tweet claimed that Sia lived in Beyoncé's basement, with people asking Beyoncé for help. The rumor has resurfaced, with people believing it's true. If so, Sia must be living well, as Beyoncé's basement is likely luxurious, Juana. In this video, I focus more on Jay-Z than Beyoncé. And the decisions that Jay-Z makes, obviously Beyoncé knows about those things. And the shady things that Jay-Z has done over all these years, obviously Beyoncé knows him. They've been together since she was 16. Obviously she knows what her partner does. And maybe she's also behind many decisions. And I'm not saying that it's real or that all the things I'm telling here are real, because there's no evidence. There really is no evidence. They're just things that are said. And maybe the evidence that is found on the internet is not very reliable either. Also because of the song She Knows, because the one who sings She Knows first worked for Jay-Z's record label. And so everyone thinks that in that song he's talking about Beyoncé because he talks about the death of Michael Jackson, Aaliyah. But I tell you, the truth here is I'm not assuring anything. Also, the theory that Beyoncé thanks everyone. Well, no, that everyone thanks Beyoncé every time they win something. No. I don't think it's so much what people think. I think it's more to show respect to Beyoncé. I also think that some people do it to be in Beyoncé's good graces, you know, so that Beyoncé doesn't have anything against them. But most of all, they do it out of the respect they have for Beyoncé. Because it's true that Beyoncé has been iconic, Susanna, in the world. Her performances, her songs, they have been super iconic. Nobody can take that away from her. And yes, that's so far several things that I've discovered about Juana Maria. So you write me in the comments, what do you think about all this? I send a little kiss to Anastasio and especially to Beyoncé. Thank you for everything, Beyoncé. This video was a joke, but I love you all very much. Take care of yourselves and comment anything you want to know. Also, let me know if you like videos where I talk standing up, as I felt very excited today. Well, that's all I wanted to say. Yes, if you made it this far, I was the real little dog. Yes, you are. Comment me, Beyoncé. Oh, lie. Comment me a little purple heart to know that you made it to this point of the video and say I was the real little dog. Yes, you are. Love you, little kisses on the Anastasia. Take care of yourselves. Thanks to my mom, my dad, my aunt, Beyoncé.